Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to learn how to do an oil change on a Nissan Sentra. Now the vehicle we're specifically working with today is going to be a 2023 Nissan Sentra SR with a 2.0 engine. But this following procedure can apply to the B18 generation, also known as the 2019 to the present 2024 generation as well. So from the 2019 to the 2024 Nissan Sentras for sure. Now there may be some slight deviations between each Sentra, but the procedure should be pretty much the exact same between each year. Now the part numbers may differ between each trim and each year, each model, so be sure to do your own due diligence and do research on what part will specifically fit your needs. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so we have our vehicle on ramps. You can use jack stands if you want. I prefer ramps so that I have more ample room and I'm not relying on just one point of the vehicle holding the whole deal up. If you do ramps like I am, you're going to want to make sure you have some kind of 2x, that way it climbs on top of that before it gets onto the ramp. Since the bumper is so low, if you just use the ramps, the bumpers will hit that and you'll cause damage to the vehicle. Not only do I have ramps up, I have wheel chocks set up so that this vehicle isn't going anywhere. And I have cardboard under the vehicle just so that since I'm on gravel, I'm not hurting myself. So now that that's all done, we can get to the engine cover that is underneath the vehicle. Now when going underneath the vehicle and removing this cover, just know there are many push pins to deal with here. Now there are two covers here. There's the front cover and then there's the main cover. The main cover is what we will want to remove, and as you can see, there are push pins in between the front cover and the main cover. You'll want to remove the center push pins as well as the other push pins that are connected to this main cover. And I will provide a page from the owner's manual which shows the locations of all the pins. I'm not going to do that in the video to save time, but you can look at that in the info that I provide in the description, so be sure to look at that to find all the push pins. So we're going to go ahead and remove all these and get a good view of our oil pan and our oil filter. Alright, now once you start removing push pins, you're going to notice once you get towards the back is that two of these are not like the rest. Other than push pins, where's it at here? There we go. Two of these are also bolts. These are 10mm bolts. It's not going to take much to get them off, and it's not going to be much to put them back on. So when you put them on later, just hand tighten it very, very light, because these are plastic covers. The more you tighten it, the more you're going to ream out the plastic or even crack it. So be sure to remove these as well. Remember, it's a 10mm. Alright, so the bolts are now off, and as you can see, the cover has fallen down. Now what may happen is one of two scenarios. Once you remove those two bolts, your whole cover is just going to go and fall on the ground. If not, it may still be attached to the front. Just simply take it from the back and pull, and the whole thing will just flop just like it is here. But once that's out, grab your cover, big old cover, and just set that to the side just like that so it doesn't get damaged. Alright, now that the engine cover is out of the way, head over to the front of your vehicle, and when locating the oil pan, as soon as you come down here, you're going to notice two things. Which one is the oil pan? Well, I'm going to make it real simple for you. It's on the passenger side, but not only that, if you look up, your oil filter is right there, and your oil filter is going to be connected to your oil pan. So it's on the passenger side, and now that we have located it, we can drain our oil. Now, first and foremost, before we ever drain anything, we need to locate the filler cap, loosen it, and set it to the side. That way, whenever the oil does start flowing, it provides a nice flow. It isn't fighting for a mix between air and oil. Kind of like whenever you pour a Coke and it's going gluck, 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 it keeps it from doing that. It keeps the flow nice and steady as if you were pouring it slow. So be sure to loosen that filler cap. Now that the oil filler cap is off, we need to come down here, locate our drain plug, which is your oil filter or oil pan, Coming all the way to the back, here is our drain plug, as you can see. And obviously mine is marked red, but that's no problem. We'll break it off. And now that we've located it, we can remove it and we can grab our oil pan. Alright, so to remove the oil drain plug, you're going to need a 14mm socket or wrench. I got my socket here. We're just going to break it loose real quick. It's not going to take that much force. And if your oil is hot, do be very careful. You don't want to burn yourself. I'm going to loosen it a little bit till it's almost on the last thread. Bring up my oil pan, not all the way underneath it, but kind of offset so that whenever it pours out, it shoots way out and into the pan. So, get my little plug here. Don't burn yourself. Get it to the last thread and pull out just like that, and there you go. There she blows. And we're going to wait for all that to drain out. Alright, so our oil has now come to a drip and we can install our drain plug. Now this drain plug here, you can see there's a little copper on the plug itself. You can replace this, it's replaceable, but we're not going to do that since it is metal. It's going to be more durable than other seals. Now we're going to take some oils. A lot of mechanics, including the owner's manual, does say to use clean oil to put around the plug whenever you create a new seal. But honestly, it's just there to create a seal. So using a little old oil, it's not going to hurt anything. So just get a little old oil, put it along the metal seal there. I'm going to put it on the plug here. Careful if the engine's still hot. Now that that's hand tightened, grab your wrench or your socket, and you're going to tighten it to what the owner's manual says is around 14 foot-pounds, I believe, which is not a lot. That's about as tight as a spark plug. So tighten it to about the torque of a spark plug and you'll be golden. So about right there is all it needs, and you're done with that. Alright, next to remove is going to be the oil filter. The oil filter takes a wrench like this, as you can see. This is a 14 flute or a 65 to 67mm oil wrench. You need one of these to remove the oil filter. You're going to place it right over the oil filter itself without slipping like I did. Make sure it's nice and seated. Give it a nice little pull. Not like that though. Just like that. And whenever you loosen this, it is going to pour out a little oil. So make sure to have your oil pan ready and have it underneath this little flow right here. As you can see, the oil is flowing down. Nissan provides a nice little avenue for the oil to flow down. And we're going to slowly let that drain oil until it comes to a trickle, and then we'll remove the oil filter. Alright, now that our oil filter has stopped dripping, I'm going to slowly loosen it until it gets to the last thread and carefully pull it off, like so. As you can see, more oil's coming out. Whenever you take it off, point the bottom down and the facing orifice up so that more oil doesn't pour down and on your face. So you're going to remove that, and then we're going to grab our new oil filter. Alright, now that our old filter has been removed, we're going to prepare our new filter. So we're going to grab it, grab a funnel, place it right in here, and we're going to pour some oil and do what's called a pre-fill and kind of get the pleats wet. Now whenever you use the oil, you want to make sure and use 0W20. This is recommended by Nissan. This is what they use. So we're going to take a little oil, not pour too much, maybe about that much, let it set in a little bit. Remove our filter, kind of jiggle it around a little bit, and we're going to let that sit for a couple minutes. Alright, so it's been set for about a minute. As we can see, there's still oil inside, which is perfect. You want it to settle. If you notice, whenever you first poured the oil in, it would bubble up as if it were drinking it. That's perfect. That's what you want. This oil filter, it will soak in through the pleats, and it'll be as if it's drinking it. And you want it to get to where it settles at a stopping point. You don't want to pour it and then it's empty. You want it to have a little bit in there. Now once that's done, we're going to take some of this fresh oil here and we're going to drip it around the seal, and this will help create a better seal whenever we install this filter later on. So now that that's pre-filled, it's settled, and we've greased it, we can now install the filter. Alright, now we're going to be putting on the engine oil filter. Be very quick when you put it on. You don't want that oil slipping out that you just pre-filled it with. Gonna hand tighten it first. There we go. We're gonna grab our wrench and our oil wrench cap, and we're going to just get it nice and snug on there, pretty much. About like that. It's not gonna take a whole lot of power. Probably about as much as a spark plug, just like the oil drain plug. So once that's on there, you're done. Alright, now that our oil filter is on, we can focus on filling the system. You're going to take a funnel, you're going to set it on top, but as you can see, it's not going to go in all the way. There's a little plastic line in there blocking you from inserting it all the way, which it's kind of dumb because then you can't put anything on there. So try to get it on there as best as you can to where it won't spill oil. The recommended fill level or the amount of oil that it takes, it's 4 3/8 of a quart to fill your engine. Now I usually try to lay back about half a quart, so we're going to do about maybe 4 quarts, and then we're going to see where the level's at from there. Alright, so we got it to where about got 4 quarts in there. Take that funnel out, and we're going to tighten this here, and we're going to check our engine oil. Alright, now whenever we check our oil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out first, and I'm going to completely clean it off, because this has been sitting in the oil pan while we were pouring that oil in, so it's likely that it just poured out all over the stick. And I'm going to take my stick, set it in there, and it's going to want to auto-orient itself to where it's up and down. Stick it in there for only a couple seconds, pull it back out so it dips in the oil pan. Check your level, and it looks like my level is good. So 4 quarts was just about right on the money. And if you do need to add more, don't be afraid to add more, but definitely do not overfill your engine. If you overfill your engine, what can happen is it can touch the crankshaft or something like that, and it'll start foaming up in the engine, and the engine will start to overheat because it's starting to create foam. The oil can't move around as well because it's just foamy up in the engine, and that's just not what you want. So other than that, this procedure is complete, and now we can put on our engine cover. Alright, next we're going to be installing this cover. Whenever y'all install the cover here, I recommend installing the top portion or the front before the bottom or the rear. And whenever it comes to installing these plugs here, just take a plug, set it in there. Of course the hole will be smaller on the inside because of the other cover. Set it in there, and this top piece, you'll push it down and that will lock it in place. And once you do all the other pins and you insert the bolts as well, the bolts are going to be light like I said earlier. You have completed this procedure, and then you can close it, lower your vehicle or lower it off the ramp, start your engine, see how it runs, and if you need to add more oil, add more oil. But other than that, you have completed this procedure. Next, we're going to reset the oil and filter life. So we're going to come in here, turn your vehicle on, wait for your settings to pop up. Next, using the control panel, you're going to want to go all the way to the end of your control to where you're at settings. You can either scroll all the way down, or what I'll just do is I'll just go up. You'll select maintenance, oil control system. You'll see this right here, and what you can do is you can hit the OK button right here. It will pop up confirm reset, and hit yes. It'll take a second, and it'll tell you to change your oil in 10,000 miles unless you set it to something different. Next, we're going to hit the back button here. Going to go to oil and filter. and it will read some odd oil mileages out of 5,000, and you can also change the 5,000, I believe. But we're going to go down to reset, confirm reset, yes, and that is how you reset your oil life system. You can circle back around to whatever you had it before, but that is how you're going to reset your oil filter system. Alright, I hope this video helped y'all out and that you learned something new. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I will see y'all next time. Until then.